Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Attention shifts from Crawford to Canelo. Who is using the cocktail? Now, let me tell you, I'm going to do this video because it's a conversation, and we have conversations on this channel. And I don't think Terence Crawford is doing anything foul. I don't think he ever has taken any illegal cocktails with Canelo. I don't believe Canelo is on anything illegal as well. We all know that Canelo's name was mixed up in something about beef in Mexico, but I just don't believe Canelo. I just don't believe it, right? But that's my opinion. Everyone can say what they want. I'm not telling anyone's wrong for their beliefs, their opinions. I'm just saying, because I think people are just like, it's such a gap. And people's opinions and perspectives on how dominant Canelo has been and how dominant Crawford has been, there's such a gap in people wanting to accept what they've been able to do in the ring, and to attribute that to just those guys being dedicated to their craft and living a disciplined lifestyle, that I think we need to have a conversation. So this is almost like the Obama versus Trump crap. You know what I'm saying? Some are all about Obama. Some felt he was qualified and did the business. Some felt like, hey, he got in there and he really didn't do what he was supposed to. The same thing with Trump. But bottom line, when Crawford before Crawford beat Spence, before he beat Spence, I don't think I heard anybody say anything about Crawford, about any suspicions about Crawford using PEDs, or I call it the cocktail. And then the illegal cocktail. The legal cocktails are like this a supplementation strategy, right? I don't think I heard any person saying anything about Terence Crawford. The belief that there may be foul play. Now, let's understand something, right? To say that Terence Crawford, to say that he was using PEDs, right? That's crazy to me. But I understand when a fighter is working with Victor Conte, Angel Heredia, Usman Sajjad, Alex Ariza, right? I understand what comes with that territory. When you look at the past of those guys and just the fact that they've been associated with some wrongdoing when it comes to the illegal cocktail. But at the end of the day, as far as Terence Crawford and working with Conte and Snack and whatever capacity, right? There's no reason for us to believe that Crawford came in that ring on any banned substances. Now, I'm going to say this, right? What is it? Is it that Earl Spence just didn't have his feet underneath him because of the car accident, because of the neurological issues, because of the weight cut and being drained going into the fight? You know, is that why Earl looked the way he did? Or is it because Bud Crawford, being on the Conti cocktail, was able to go in there and make Earl Spence look the way he did? I mean, come on now, goddammit. One or the other. Which one is it? Okay? Or is it that Bud was just superior? You have Earl Spence, who's elite. Bud Crawford is more elite. That's what I say. But my thing is, it can't be both. It can't be both, in my opinion. So what is it? Because there's no reason to believe that Crawford is out here doing anything foul, right? When you take a look at Terence Crawford and his record, he got 40 wins, 31 by KO. Okay? When Terence Crawford gets in the ring, he's not in there in every one of his fights where he's so dominant to where you say, oh my God, something's got to be up. Put it to you this way. When Manny Pacquiao came over here to the States, the way he was tearing through opponents with ferociousness, speed, explosiveness, that's what y'all got to pay attention to. That explosiveness, that's not normal, man. I'm not saying guys can't achieve that kind of explosiveness just off of working out, just off of genetics, athleticism. But what I'm saying is, what Pacquiao was doing, that was beyond comprehension. But at the end of the day, I just got to give Pacquiao credit. But the reason I'm mentioning his name is because has Terrence Crawford ever looked like that? Against fighter after fighter after fighter after fighter. Y'all remember when Pacquiao came out, Pacquiao was murdering people. All the Morales and Barreras and those guys, they had their hands full with Pacquiao, didn't they? And everyone else Pacquiao fought. Cotto, everyone, even Juan Manuel Marquez, everybody. The guys who stood in front of Pacquiao, that was it. But the guys who could move around the ring and punch and counterpunch, and they did a little bit better. But if Pacquiao was able to outstamina you, then you'd be in trouble. You would be in trouble. But you come and look at Terrence Crawford. In every one of Terrence Crawford's fights, he gets hit. There's times where Terrence Crawford's behind in fights. In a lot of his fights, he's behind. And then he just slowly but surely starts to make adjustments and pull away. You don't see Terrence Crawford coming out there and just from the first round, just coming out there explosive, ferocious, firing, letting his hands go, firing hard shots. You know how hard it is to throw power punches round after round after round, especially if you're not hitting your target? Crawford doesn't fight like that. So this whole thing about Crawford being on the cocktail, I just think that's foul. Now, when you go and you take a look, right? Let's just take a look at Terrence Crawford. And let me slide this over a little bit for you, okay? Because we can see the last name just fine. Well, let me just do this, right? Because when I look at this, right? Let's just go down here to this guy, Andrei Klimov, right? He fought him in 2013. Let's just look. That was a unanimous decision win over 10, okay? And that now you're talking about fighting at 134 pounds for those who can't see that. It's 134 pounds, okay? So that's when he was fighting at 135. He got a decision, then the next fighter, Ricky Burns, decision. Then he got a TKO against Gamboa in the 9th, which in that fight, you can't tell me you think Crawford was on any kind of pads, because in that fight, Gamboa was holding his own. Fought Beltran, got a unanimous decision. Okay, fought Delorme in the 6th round, got a TKO, and that was a really good fight. Then he went on after Delorme. He got Derry Jean. It went to the 10th round. Then he got a TKO against Lundy. You saw that fight against Lundy. First couple rounds weren't looking too good for Terrence Crawford because Lundy was fighting him. Then he goes and fights Victor Postal. Got a unanimous decision. Okay. Then he got a TKO against John Molina, which was another one of those tough fights. Then he fought Felix Diaz and went to the 10th round. Then he fought Ndongo. Ndongo he couldn't handle Terrence Crawford's power. Fought Jeff Horn. Look, man, that went 9 rounds. Referee stopped the fight. Jose Benavidez was winning that fight against Crawford. And it was going to go to the distance till Crawford caught him with a shot he didn't see. Amir Khan, we know what happened there. It doesn't matter who. You could have, what's his name, man? Bam Bam Rodriguez would knock out Amir Khan. He got in there with Mean Machine. We saw how that went. Crawford got knocked down. I don't care what Crawford says. But what I'm getting at is when you look at these fights, Crawford didn't necessarily get in there and dominate anybody. You know what I'm saying? And Evanescence, again, that was a fight where Evanescence was touching up more than what Crawford should have been touching, in my opinion. Then he fights Spence, and it is what it is with the Spence fight. But still, it wasn't necessarily him having that one-punch knockout power. And that's what I'm getting at. When you look at guys like, and man, I'm not saying Pacquiao was on nothing, but I'm just saying, one-punch concussive knockout power. Touch you and you out of here, right? Crawford's never really been that guy. He can do it, but he's never really been a guy known for hit you at one shot and knock you out cold. That's not him. He hit you and hurt you, didn't it? It's all downhill for you. But one punch KO power, if he catches you with a shot you don't see, you'll be out of there. But that's not him. So I just don't understand, because of how dominant he was against Earl Spence, people all of a sudden coming up with Crawford and the whole cocktail thing. But nonetheless, all that attention is shifted from that ship is sailed. Ain't nobody talking about Crawford being on no cocktail no more. That's out of here. Now they talking about Canelo Alvarez being on the cocktail. And to that I got to say, I don't think that's fair to Canelo Alvarez. I understand the issue with the beef in the past. I get it. I understand some people felt it wasn't handled properly. I get it. I understand. Right? Something seemed a little bit off about the beef thing. I get it. But that being said, when you take a look at Canelo Alvarez, okay, 60 wins, 39 by KO. He has 2 losses, right? Bivol and Mayweather gave him those 2 losses. He has a 65% KO ratio. And that KO ratio doesn't really tell me that I need to be worried. Anyone needs to be worried about Canelo coming out here and tranquilizing people. But the problem is, when people look back at Canelo Alvarez, right? Let's just go, Miguel Cotto. Okay, let's start at Floyd Mayweather, right? He lost a decision there, which it shouldn't have been no decision loss. It should have been unanimous decision, not no majority. That was crazy. But he fights Angulo, right? And then we're going back and forth. But, Canelo was landing the hardest shots. But the thing is, Angulo's not hard to hit. So anybody talking about he was on the goddamn cocktail fighting Angulo, I got to say, hold your horses, don't take it to the stupid. Right? Angulo fought Kirkland and was having his way. Then he got caught by Kirkland. Okay, so come on now. That's not fair. Erislandy Lara, if he was on the cocktail, he would have been able to do more damage to him and track him down and cut off that ring and bang him on the ropes. So that didn't happen. It went to decision. Some people felt Lara won that fight. But I do feel Lara lost his right to complain because he didn't let his hands go enough. He got in there with James Kirkland. James Kirkland did his best, but we all know James Kirkland became a little bit chinny. And everybody was knocking James Kirkland out. Then he getting in trouble, going to prison. James Kirkland wasn't the same fighter. But bottom line is Canelo got him out of there with a solid shot, but he had already hurt him. Fought Miguel Cotto. Look, I tell you what, Pacquiao stopped Miguel Cotto, right? Little small Pacquiao stopped Miguel Cotto. Why didn't Canelo? And this was an old Cotto. So if you're gonna say Canelo was on the cocktail, I'd have to say hold your horses against Miguel Cotto. How? Little Pacquiao knocked out Cotto. How come Canelo didn't? If Canelo's on a cocktail, big, strong Canelo, and he couldn't knock out old Cotto? Get out of here. He knocks out Amir Khan. People out there, Canelo's on the guy, he's on the cocktail. Come on now, we're talking about Amir Khan. Let's not take it to the stupid. Gets in there with Liam Smith. He didn't knock him out. He just beating him down. The referee stopped the fight. He couldn't even sit there and stop Chavez Jr., who was a sitting duck because he was weight drained and just at such a disadvantage. Got in there with Golovkin that first fight. I think Canelo lost that fight. Got in there with the second fight. I think Canelo lost the first fight, and I think Canelo lost the second fight. But doesn't matter what I think. Got in there with Rocky Fielding. Rocky Fielding, man, look, he sold that damn title. Daniel Jacobs, he didn't let his hands go at all. It is what it is, though. Daniel Jacobs was making, like he says, I'm making M's. Well, he was making them M's, and as a result, he got comfortable, and he didn't put up the fight that he should have put up. Sergey Kovalev, I'm not sure what happened there. But to see Canelo knock out Kovalev the way he did, it just makes me wonder, if Kovalev and the Secret Society didn't have an agreement to let Canelo get a spectacular win so he can pick up a title, a WBO title at 175 pounds. Then he got in there with Caleb Smith, got a unanimous decision. Went in there and fought Yildirim, which, he didn't do anything quite devastating to him, but he was just, he was just out muscling him. Fought Billy Joe Saunders. Hey, that shot he hit him with was just a hard shot, and Saunders was bending down going into the shot. So as a result, it just, increased the impact, and that just was all bad for Saunders in his eye. Fought Caleb Plant. I didn't see anything to make me feel that, Canelo Alvarez was on the goddamn cocktail. He fought Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant was out working him. And then, Caleb Plant, just like he did against Benavidez, started to slow. And Canelo started chopping him down, okay? Canelo throws hard, single shots. And he's got power. He knows if he hits you, he can hurt you. But there's nothing concussive. It's not like he hit Caleb Plant and Caleb Plant, chin spun around to his damn, to the back, to the damn back of his neck. And he fell out. That's not what happened. He just fatigue and Canelo cutting the ring off. Psychologically, he was done, and then physically, he fell apart as well. Went in there with Bivol. Where was the Canelo beef then? Where was the cocktail then when he fought Bivol? There was no cocktail. If so, it would have showed up in that fight. Bivol just outworked him and embarrassed him, man. Fought Golovkin in that third fight. Where was the cocktail then? It went to unanimous decision. All Golovkin throwing single shots. He can't even throw a combination. He wasn't even able to throw combinations after he left Abel Sanchez. Golovkin looked horrible once he left Abel Sanchez. What's he got? Banks? Whatever that coach, Banks, whatever. Had Golovkin in there trying to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Golovkin is the definition of mash up, crash up. And you're going to have him in there trying to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee? Man, get out of here with that nonsense. Got in there with John Ryder. Went to a decision. Why he didn't knock him out? Oh, Canelo was hurt. Okay, now he's hurt. This has nothing to do with the cocktail anymore, right? Nobody talking cocktail anymore. Then he comes and fights Jermell Charlo. Now people talking about Canelo was on the cocktail. Hey, look, people. Y'all got to make up your mind. Y'all got to make up your mind. Is it that maybe these fighters just live in the gym? You know, maybe they're just dedicated to their craft. You know, maybe they've evolved their style to know what works best for them. Terrence Crawford is a guy who's a boxer, puncher, a highly, let me tell you something. I'm going to describe him as a highly polished counterpuncher with power in both hands. So Crawford has evolved his style to be a guy who uses his eyes. He fights with his eyes. And he's always in position and ready to strike. Always. Crawford's not necessarily trying to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee in that ring no more. He's in there, man, and he's just watching everything you're doing. And once you make a mistake, he's on you. Canelo's evolved his style. He ain't up on his toes and doing all that no more. He's sitting flat-footed. And he's stepping to you. He's cutting the ring off. And he's looking to throw single shots at your body, at your head, at your arms. It doesn't matter. He throws it straight. He throws it looping. He throws it over the top. And then he'll go to bang you in your kidney. You don't know where punches are coming from when you're facing Canelo. And he's coming in behind that high guard. And if you can't penetrate that high guard, you're in trouble. If you can't get behind his gloves and hit him with something to discourage him, you're in trouble. So I'm not sold on this whole idea of Crawford being on the cocktail, Canelo being on the cocktail. I mean, damn, can we just give a fighter credit? I understand the conversation. I'm just telling you I don't agree with it. But I think the conversation's fair. I think it makes for a good healthy dialogue. It makes it fun to me. But if you ask me, what do I think? I don't think so. But I do think if you're going to associate yourself with, which we don't know if Canelo's associated with Conti or Heredia, Ariza, Usman, Sajad. I don't believe Canelo's associated with any of those guys. But I'll tell you what, if he was, he wouldn't want that to be out. Because why would he want to sit there, man, and peel a scab off and have to deal with the bull crap again? When everybody seemed to have, most people have moved on beyond the Canelo beef scandal. But some people haven't. And then Terrence Crawford, look, man, this whole snack thing, why isn't Devin Haney knocking people out? That's all I'm saying. Crawford been knocking people out for a long time. All right? So that being said, this thing now, just because Canelo got in there and beat Jermell Charlo, listen. Even I thought Jermell, who naturally walks around at probably like 180, right? Even I thought he would have come in there and at his natural weight and been able to handle a guy like Canelo and represent himself a bit better than what he did. But I'm going to tell you something, and I had to keep this in mind. Me, and this is a fact, right? Like when I used to train, right? Me walking around at 205 pounds, lifting weights and training, right? And me sparring there. And me cutting down to 160, getting ready for a fight. Me at 170, 172 sparring, that's a totally different animal than me at 200 pounds, 205 pounds. I'm telling y'all right now. I'm telling you from experience. Anyone who's ever boxed or done anything that a sport requires you to cut weight, wrestling, whatever, I can't see anyone disagreeing with me that at whatever weight that they were wrestling at, fighting at, whatever you're doing, you can't tell me that you feel you'll feel better at a heavier weight. I'd have to say nah. Maybe if you're in the gym's lifting weight, you feel stronger. That is a fact. I'm telling you, anyone can argue with me about that. I used to lift a lot of weights. I'm telling you, man. 380. I ain't no guy lifting no 400 pounds. My max was 385. Hey, it don't matter. All that shit, you know. But what I'm telling you is, I'm not selling you shit here, man. With all that weight and stuff, when it matters, especially when you're getting in the gym and you're looking to lift weights and stuff, you know, just eating more gives you more energy, and you go in the gym and you're like, man, your power comes back. I'm telling you, it affects your body, man. It's just like if you're a guy who's in the gym and you repping 315, you know, 4 sets of 6, you know what I'm saying? And you cut weight now down to 170. You're not repping that 315 like that. And I'm throwing out these numbers because that's what I used to do. It just doesn't happen, man. Your body it doesn't have the energy, man. You gotta be eating and taking in them carbs and all that. You gotta eat, man. So that being said, for Jermell Charlo, I think he goes back down to 154. I think we'll see the Charlo of old. And I don't think Canelo being on a cocktail had anything to do with him getting that win over Jermell Charlo. I just think him fighting that weight he came in is just, he wasn't really, he didn't build up to that the right way. And plus he was inactive. So that being said, Crawford deserves all the credit for his victories. Hold your horses, stop taking it to the stupid saying that man was on pads. He was on no damn pads. But I think it's fair to have a conversation. And Canelo, same thing. I'm not so sure I buy into that either, man. Just get a man credit, you know. So in this case, with the Mexicans, we say Viva Mexico. With Crawford, we say Viva El Negro, all right? And we'll leave it as that. Y'all keep cool. Y'all in the breeze.